Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, and today we'll be in the future year of 2035, where the population has decreased by more than 35% due to degradation and exploitation of the Earth's ecosystem, wars, riots, people abuse, and hunger. You've divided yourselves into small groups that believe in equality and started to rebuild by creating a city of tomorrow. Today, we'll be taking a look at Solar City, which is for 2 to 4 players, takes 30 to 45 minutes to play, and is for ages 10 and up. You'll be building skyscrapers to generate revenue, public structures to improve your city's infrastructure, and upgrade your existing skyscrapers into gardens. And as you build your city, an entire section will be activated, giving you various benefits. Solar City is on Kickstarter right now, so I'm going to show you how the game works, and then I'll see you on the other side. This is a Kickstarter preview, so all the art and components I'm showing you are prototype and not final. To see all the final art and components, you'll want to check the Kickstarter project by checking out the link in the description of this video. In Solar City, each player is going to get their own board, which essentially is their city that they're building up in this grid with letters going across the horizontal side and numbers going off the vertical side. Over the course of the game, you're going to be building this city by placing skyscrapers and at some point possibly even upgrading them to sky gardens, which are going to give you some points. Any place that you do not build over the course of the game will be negative points, and you're trying to get points over the course of the game. At the beginning of the game, there's a randomized setup. You'll see 3 stacks of skyscraper tiles here. Now there's 12 different types of skyscrapers in the entire game, but only 6 of them are going to be used each game, and each of these piles only has 2 of them. So there's 2 different skyscrapers in this pile, 2 different ones here, and 2 different ones here for a total of 6 different skyscrapers, which gives the game a lot of replayability. There's also a certain amount of public structures that come out throughout the game, and there's a certain amount of these depending on the amount of players, so the game also has a lot of replayability there as well. The game is played over a series of rounds depending on the amount of players: 2 players, 3 players, and 9 players. And those rounds are made up of players' turns that will go in clockwise order. On your turn, you could do one of 3 things. One possibility is to build a skyscraper, where you'll take the top of any one of these piles and build that skyscraper. For example, let's build this one, the Geoseed. Now when you build the skyscraper, you must pay the cost. Everyone starts with a certain amount of money, depending on the amount of players and where you are in turn order. Now your skyscraper tracker is here, and the first one is free because it's right there. And we could place this in any empty spot. Let's say we place it right here. Now, because we've just placed a skyscraper, it'll go up. So the next one that we buy will cost 1, and then it will go up, and the next one 2, 3, and 4. So as you build more and more skyscrapers, they get more expensive. Then you're going to check for city activation. You'll see over here we have letters A, B, C, D, and then numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. This is in spot D4. Now we check to see, there's little spots that you can place your token on the end of the column and row of where I just placed this. If they're both open, you can take one of your tokens and place it in either of those. This will activate your city. So if we place it in this column, every skyscraper in this column would activate. If we place it over here in the row, every skyscraper in that row would activate. So let's place it here in this D column where all of my skyscrapers would activate, including the one I just placed. And this Geoseed says I get 2 coins for each adjacent city edge, which is the edge of the board. I have 2 of them there, so 2 times 2 is 4. I would get 4 more coins there. Now an important note here is that when you place your token here, you're going to call this off to all the other opponents. D, everyone else places their token there. They will not be able to activate that column for the rest of this round. That means when you place a tile, you might not have as many options to activate it. For example, if this was already here when I placed this, my only option would have been to have placed a token here. But let's just say even more that both of these were already full. If I place this here, the city could not activate because both options are already gone. Then it would go to the next player's turn clockwise. Another option you have in your turn is to build a public structure. You choose one of these public structures that's here, and you can pay the cost. It's always 8 coins regardless of the public structure you're building. Let's say we want to build this green stadium on our turn. So let's say I place it right here. Now we look at this and we see this activation here. Now this is, I can put it in either of these 2, and we're going to activate this. Now these never activate. The skyscrapers are the one that activates. So we go down here, and this one activates again. 2 coins for each of the city's edges. So I would get another 4 coins there because this skyscraper has been activated. Now these public structures just give an ongoing effect. They don't activate when the city activates. For example, every time I build a new skyscraper, I will gain 4 coins. Then we would refill this, so we'd go to the next player's turn, but when it comes back to us, our last possible option of the 3 is to upgrade to a sky garden. Now we're 1 turn in the future here. Now let's say we wanted to upgrade our original skyscraper. At this point, we can't do that to a sky garden because both the column and the row has already been activated this turn, so you cannot upgrade it. However, last turn, I actually added this skyscraper here. Now the cost to upgrade is always 2 coins for each sky garden you have in your city. So the first one is free, but the next one would be 2 coins, and the next one would be 4 coins, etc. Now when I placed this shaft skyscraper, I activated it in the A row here and I got 3 coins. Now all of the skyscrapers have a grayed out action here in the upper left. This tells you what will happen when you upgrade and flip this tile. So I am going to upgrade it like this. As you can see, this is A, it's free to upgrade, and B, it gives us 12 coins. That's just what the shaft does. And we're going to activate this row, so all the other skyscrapers in this row are also going to activate. Now these don't activate with rows in time, they only activate at 1 time when it's flipped and upgraded. Now this will continue until all the slots are filled, and this will happen simultaneously on everybody's board. You'd then remove them to get ready for the next round. You'd then advance the round marker. Each of the public structures that are there would get 2 coins, and the first player would be the player to the left who took the last turn of last round. And this will continue until you get to the end round for the 2, 3, or 4 player mark. Then at the end of the game, you're going to count the points that you've already gotten from certain activations. You're going to get a point for each of your sky gardens that you've built. You'll lose a point for any empty spots that you have in your city. And you'll lose a point if you have a loan. See, when you buy things, if you don't have enough money, you can take a loan for 6. You'd get 6 coins to spend, but then you have to spend 12 to give it back and get rid of it. And for every one you have of these, you get minus a point. And every 12 coins can be turned in for a point as well. Whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. Now I mentioned there's a randomization of setup. Here's the 12 different cards you use to randomize those. It shows you all of the activation abilities of the skyscraper and what happens when you upgrade it to a sky garden. I'll leave this here for just a moment. Feel free to pause it and to look at what all the other tiles do in the game. And there's 9 unique public structures in the game. Here's 6 of those 9. You can pause here again as well and read at what these do. Well, there you have Solar City, and as I've shown in the overview, it has that interesting mechanism of activating an entire row or column of your city when placing a skyscraper, public structure, or upgrading to a sky garden. But it also stops your opponents from activating that row or column for the rest of the round. Now, if you'd like to see the final art and components and all of the different pledge levels, you can click on the link below me in the description of this video and it will take you directly to the Kickstarter project page, and I'm sure the creators of Solar City would love your support.